Every morning from the moment you awaken, a subtle yet powerful process begins within you. It is so reliable and ever-present that you often overlook its significance, assuming it will just happen on its own. This process is your breath, a gentle current of air that moves into your lungs to infuse your body with life-giving oxygen, then flows outward as you release stale carbon dioxide. Although this cycle is so common that it barely earns a place in your conscious awareness, it underpins every dimension of your being. Physical vitality, emotional stability, mental clarity, and even the deepest levels of self-awareness all hinge on this continuous exchange of breath. In many ways, it is the thread that weaves your life story from one moment to the next, connecting your inner world with the environment around you. When you truly reflect on the myriad processes in the human body, you can see how the heartbeat, the flow of blood through arteries and veins, and the delicate workings of countless cells all rely on a steady supply of oxygen. Yet breath encompasses far more than just a mechanical function. It is the direct link between your conscious mind and your unconscious physiology. Most of the day, it operates under the radar, silently fueling your life as you focus on a kaleidoscope of tasks and thoughts. But when you shift your awareness to this simple, rhythmic act, you discover a profound capacity to transform your state of being. And if you are still watching, make sure to give a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. It is extraordinary that such a natural, automatic function can also be harnessed to alter mood, heighten awareness, and guide you into a profound sense of presence. This is partly because breathing is uniquely governed by both the autonomic, automatic, and somatic voluntary nervous systems. You do not have to exert any willpower to keep breathing, yet you can consciously choose to deepen, slow, or hold your breath at any time. This remarkable dual control is what makes breathing one of the most potent gateways to self-mastery. By paying attention to how you inhale and exhale, you can directly influence the balance of your mind, the quality of your emotions, and the vibrations of your energy field. Subtle adjustments to the length, depth, and rhythm of each breath produce measurable effects on your body, from lowering your heart rate to calming the stress response in your nervous system. In many spiritual traditions, this life force carried by the breath is considered sacred, a vessel that can deliver you into heightened states of perception when cultivated properly. All too often, the gift of breath remains neglected, overshadowed by the ceaseless chatter of daily life and the pull of external responsibilities. You might hurry through errands, projects, and obligations, taking shallow inhales that mirror the pace of your hectic day, never recognizing that a simple pause to breathe more deliberately could open a doorway to greater clarity and inner harmony. It is as if there is a hidden treasure chest within you that you rarely think to unlock, one that can grant you calmness in anxiety, stability in turmoil, and insight in confusion. By learning to appreciate and work with your breath, you begin to unravel deeper layers of your consciousness. In that unraveling, you discover a quieter, more centered version of yourself, a self that is intimately connected to all that is unfolding in and around you, yet simultaneously serene and unshakable at the core. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of this awareness is that it can be cultivated by anyone at any moment. No special equipment is needed, nor does it require exotic locations or time-consuming rituals. All it takes is a simple willingness to redirect your focus inward and acknowledge the transformative power that your breath has always carried. The seeds of higher understanding are planted each time you inhale with intent and exhale with surrender. In observing even a single breath, you open the door to extraordinary shifts in consciousness that can color your entire day and, over time, your entire life. And in that opening, the journey truly begins. We rarely consider how closely our breath is tied to what we call spirit or essence, but the link is there for us to explore. By turning your gaze toward that soft rise and fall in your chest, you connect to a deeper, more expansive realm. It is a place where boundaries blur, and you start sensing an undercurrent of unity that flows through you and all living things. This sense of oneness often remains a fleeting impression unless it is nurtured and integrated into your daily experience. But once you begin to pay attention, each breath reminds you that you are alive, that you belong here, and that you can tap into a larger perspective at will. Even in moments of difficulty, the breath acts as a steadfast anchor, constantly available to calm and guide you. It is a sacred doorway that, once recognized, can radically elevate how you perceive yourself and the world around you. The magic lies in its simplicity, and the entire path to deeper awareness can start with nothing more than a single conscious breath. In moments of stress or hurried distraction, you can test this for yourself. Close your eyes for a brief second, shift your attention to the steady pulse of your inhalation, and notice how your body begins to relax. Observe the tension in your neck, shoulders, or forehead. Recognize how your heartbeat adjusts, how your thoughts slow, and how a sense of gentle spaciousness begins to emerge. Even if your mind is running at full throttle, the deliberate act of focusing on the breath acts like a reset button. It reminds you that behind the myriad concerns of daily life, there is a reservoir of calm waiting to be tapped into. In that calm, heightened consciousness flourishes, offering you insights that would remain hidden if you never paused to breathe. This is not about escaping reality. Rather, it is about embracing your experience more fully by engaging the natural rhythms that sustain you. Once you taste the clarity that arises from simply breathing with awareness, you may wonder why it took so long to rediscover this built-in, gentle guide to a more elevated state of being. When you devote yourself to understanding and working with your breath, you begin to see life through a new lens. The habitual patterns that govern your reactions to challenges and opportunities start to shift. Instead of panicking or shutting down when confronted with stress, you learn to ride the waves with more ease. You respond rather than react, creating space within yourself to choose peace over chaos, presence over distraction, and love over fear. This alchemy unfolds progressively, each intentional breath acting like a small step on the path of self-discovery. Over time, these small steps accumulate into giant leaps of transformation. You start to recognize the subtle language of your internal landscape, how certain emotions live in your body, how they influence your breath, and how your conscious breathing can transmute them into something lighter, clearer, and more aligned with your true nature. This is not a matter of abstract theory or airy spirituality. It is as practical as it gets. Because just as the body needs nourishment and rest, your mind and soul crave the sanctuary that deliberate breathing offers. In that sanctuary, you can shed the accumulated stress, quiet the noise, and remember who you truly are beneath the surface roles and expectations. It is in those sacred pauses that you realize the power you hold to reshape your life from the inside out, using your own breath as the creative force. Our modern world brims with distractions and demands that can easily sever our connection to this inherent gift. Yet this is precisely why recognizing and reclaiming the power of your breath can become such a transformative act. It runs counter to the hurried currents of contemporary life, offering a path inward at a time when everything seems to push you outward. Even the smallest dedication to mindful breathing begins to accumulate benefits. Lower stress, better emotional resilience, improved concentration, and a sense of inner stability that remains unshaken by the turbulence around you. And beyond these tangible effects, something more subtle starts to blossom. An awareness that transcends the usual boundaries you place around yourself. You step beyond just existing in the daily grind, and you begin living with a more expansive sense of reality. Each conscious breath becomes an invitation to attune yourself to deeper wisdom and compassion that you might have once believed was reserved for mystics or spiritual masters. When you begin this practice, you may encounter challenges. The mind will resist, preferring the comfort of its old patterns and incessant chatter. You might feel restless or skeptical. You might wonder if all this attention on the breath is just another passing trend or a fleeting curiosity. But as you persist, you will find that your entire being starts to change. The discipline of intentional breathing can be simple, but it is profoundly effective. Regularly taking slow, full breaths can gradually rewire your nervous system, helping you break free from chronic stress responses that keep you in a perpetual state of fight or flight. In that shift, you find liberation in the most down-to-earth sense, freedom from anxiety, from incessant mental noise, and from a life ruled by external pressures. Instead, you step into an existence enriched by conscious choice, empathy, and a more fluid understanding of what it means to be human. The path may not always be linear, but each breath is a step, each pause a chance to integrate newfound insights. And in time, this ongoing dialogue with your own breath unveils new chapters in your personal evolution, chapters you might never have thought possible had you not taken that first deliberate inhale. As you deepen your connection with this natural rhythm, you discover that the breath itself can become a teacher. It shows you where you hold tension and worry. It signals when you are anxious or scattered. It guides you toward balance by revealing the ebb and flow of your inner energy. In essence, it becomes a mirror, reflecting your state of mind and being in real time. That is why so many meditative traditions center around breath awareness. When you can observe each inhale and exhale without judgment, you begin to peel back layers of conditioning and old patterns. You see your attachments, your fears, your joys, and your limitations in a more neutral light. And that neutrality paves the way for self-compassion and growth, because you can finally recognize your inner climate without clinging to or resisting what arises. In that recognition, real transformation happens. It is not forced or contrived. It emerges from the deepest parts of your being as you learn to align your inner rhythms with the pulsation of life itself. In that alignment, a new world of possibilities opens up. You realize you are not trapped in the stories of your past or the expectations of your future. You can shape your moment-to-moment experience with the most essential tool you have, your breath. The path to deeper awareness through breathing may be straightforward, but it is not always easy. Modern society places so much emphasis on doing, on tasks, achievements, goals, and external validation, that simply being feels like a luxury. Yet this is precisely why the breath is such a potent anchor. It reminds you that your existence goes beyond the sum of your obligations. With each conscious inhalation, you reaffirm your inherent right to be here, to occupy space, to explore the mysteries of your own consciousness. You may use techniques such as counting breaths, holding the inhale at its peak, or practicing slow, extended exhalations to calm the mind and body. Over time, you will find the style that resonates best with you. But regardless of the technique, the core remains the same. You are giving yourself permission to pause, to settle into the present, and to acknowledge the boundless wellspring of life that breath represents. As you do so, mental chatter begins to loosen its grip, and you experience a sense of spaciousness that can shift your perspective on everything. Worries become less overwhelming, joys become richer, and your interactions with others gain a quality of genuine presence. It is as if you have tapped into a dimension that has always been there, quietly waiting for you to notice. In this endeavor, consistency is key. Just as you would not expect immediate results from sporadic visits to the gym, the transformative power of breath emerges most profoundly when it becomes part of your daily life. Consistent practice, whether it is a few minutes in the morning, short breaks during the day, or a dedicated evening session, builds a strong foundation. Over time, you might notice that stress dissipates more quickly, concentration improves, and you are less reactive in challenging situations. At a deeper level, a gradual awakening takes place, revealing a stillness that can only be described as witnessing consciousness. It feels like an unwavering presence observing your thoughts, emotions, and surroundings with calm detachment. This is not detachment in the sense of apathy or withdrawal. Rather, it is a balanced awareness that allows you to move through life's ups and downs with grace. It is a taste of inner freedom, reminding you that you are the observer behind the drama, not a prisoner of the script. Another remarkable aspect is how this practice can foster a greater sense of empathy and connection with others. When you become more present to your own breath and inner states, you also become more sensitive to the energy and experiences of people around you. Your conversations gain depth, your listening becomes more genuine, and your capacity for compassion expands. Breathing consciously not only enhances your personal well-being, but also ripples outward, affecting relationships, work environments, and even casual encounters. It is a subtle shift, but one that is palpable. You start to live from a deeper place, and others can sense this authenticity. In a world that often encourages superficial interactions, the gift of true presence is invaluable, and it all stems from consistently returning to the breath, moment by moment, day by day, until it becomes a natural way of being. On a practical level, this dedication can be woven into the fabric of your daily routine in countless ways. Perhaps you begin the day with a short session of mindful breathing, setting the tone for the hours ahead. Or maybe you take a few deep breaths before opening your computer, answering a phone call, or starting your commute. Even small, seemingly insignificant pauses can add up, each one reinforcing the habit of conscious living. And as you become more comfortable in these shorter intervals, you might explore longer sessions, such as breath-focused meditation or gentle yoga that harmonizes your movement with deliberate breathing. Over time, the distinction between practice and everyday life begins to blur, because the same conscious awareness of breath can be carried through every situation, while shopping, talking with friends, or simply sitting quietly. In this way, you craft a lifestyle that supports continuous growth and reflection. Instead of viewing breath practice as a separate chore, you integrate it so seamlessly that it becomes part of the essence of who you are and how you move through the world. As you strengthen this relationship with your own breath, you may also become curious about other tools and modalities that complement the journey. Some traditions introduce sound, chanting, or mantras to synchronize with breathing patterns, while others use visualization or specific body postures to enhance energy flow. There are also modern methods that combine breath control with cold exposure or dynamic exercises to elicit powerful changes in consciousness. Regardless of the approach, the underlying principle remains the same. When you harness the breath, you gain access to dimensions of your being that are otherwise obscured by busyness and distraction. It is a profoundly human and universal practice, transcending cultural barriers and uniting people under a shared recognition that this simple act, repeated thousands of times a day, holds the key to deeper awareness and wellness. Yet it is crucial to remember that this path is ultimately about simplicity. While techniques, workshops, and guided practices can be incredibly helpful, the core of it all is simply paying attention. You do not need to master esoteric practices to benefit from the healing and illuminating powers of breath. All that is required is the willingness to pause in the midst of life's noise and reconnect with the gentle rhythm that has accompanied you since birth. In doing so, you discover that the most profound truths often emerge from the most fundamental aspects of existence. There is no greater symbol of that truth than your breath, which effortlessly bridges the gap between your physical body and your subtle consciousness. In every moment, it carries the potential to remind you of your inherent wholeness, your capacity for growth, and your intimate connection to the world around you. Consistent practice reveals the vast scope of what breath can accomplish. It can act as a balm for frayed nerves, a spark for creative insight, a catalyst for emotional release, or a guide into the silent expanse of pure awareness. You begin to trust it as a friend and ally. In times of doubt or confusion, you can turn to your breath and find steadiness. In times of joy, you can celebrate it by breathing even more expansively, feeling your energy merge with the pulse of life. This simple act has been revered across cultures and ages for a reason. It is both humble and mighty, subtle and transformative. It reminds you that the grandest revelations and the loftiest states of consciousness do not necessarily require grandiose acts or complicated rituals. They can be accessed in the midst of ordinary life, sipping your morning coffee, walking down a city street, or lying in bed at night, simply by returning to the knowledge that you are breathing. That simple realization can pave the way for heightened presence, clarity, and a sense of awe at the marvel of existence. Over time, you might notice a profound shift in how you relate to yourself in the world. Where once you felt scattered or disconnected, you begin to perceive a quiet unity. Where you once reacted hastily, you now find a moment of stillness in which to choose a more thoughtful response. Where fear once dictated your decisions, a sense of trust and curiosity now beckons you to explore. And this shift does not make you complacent or passive. Rather, it enables you to engage with life more fully and authentically. You are able to see challenges as opportunities to practice presence. You become more attuned to the delicate interplay of body, mind, and spirit, and thus more capable of influencing your own evolution. This is the kind of empowerment that arises not from external accolades or acquisitions, but from the rich inner resource that has been with you all along. As you navigate the ebb and flow of life, you realize that while circumstances can change at any moment, your capacity to breathe with awareness remains a constant refuge. Embracing your breath in this way can also spark a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. When you feel connected to your own inner well-being, you naturally become more aware of how your choices and actions affect the collective. This expanded sense of responsibility grows out of love and respect for life itself, fueled by the understanding that each breath is both a personal act and a shared gift. The air you inhale has circulated through countless beings over millennia, and the air you exhale returns to the environment, carrying your energy along with it. Recognizing this interdependency can inspire you to live with greater harmony, not only within yourself, but also with the planet. You may find yourself drawn to more mindful consumption, more compassionate communication, and more heartfelt service to others. All of these changes, no matter how small, reflect the broader awakening that conscious breathing fosters. It is an awakening to your role in the grand tapestry of existence, a role that you can play with grace and integrity once you have established peace within your own being. Eventually, as you continue on this path, you might experience moments of deep insight or profound stillness, glimpses into realms of consciousness beyond the usual hustle and bustle of daily life. While these moments cannot be forced, they often arise naturally when the mind becomes quiet enough to perceive them. The breath, in its gentle persistence, serves as a bridge to those elevated states. As your relationship with the breath matures, you will likely find that these moments of heightened clarity become more frequent and more integrated into your everyday reality. They may manifest as a sudden understanding of interconnectedness, a wave of compassion for all living things, or a spontaneous feeling of unshakable peace. Such experiences can reshape your priorities and prompt you to live in alignment with deeper values. They also act as reaffirmations that the path you are on is both timeless and universal, a path that has been walked by countless seekers who have turned inward to discover the treasure of their own breath. Of course, there will be times when this path feels challenging, or when life's pressures momentarily overwhelm your capacity to remain present. This is natural and to be expected. The key is not to strive for unbroken, flawless mindfulness, but to cultivate the resilience that allows you to return to center whenever you drift away. Even when distractions arise and your mind becomes entangled in worries or regrets, your breath remains a steadfast ally, waiting to be noticed and embraced once more. Each time you consciously redirect your attention to this simple yet profound rhythm, you build the mental and emotional muscle needed to remain balanced in the face of life's storms. It becomes a cycle of remembering, forgetting, and remembering again, a dance that ultimately deepens your wisdom and compassion for both yourself and others. And in that dance, you will discover that every step, whether forward or backward, is an essential part of your growth. You might also notice that as your consciousness expands through breath, your intuition sharpens. You become more adept at reading subtle cues in your environment and more open to synchronicities and coincidences that can guide you along your life path. It is as though the veil that separates you from the deeper intelligence of life thins, allowing you to move with a sense of alignment and flow. While rational thought and planning have their rightful place, you start to trust an inner guidance that can offer clarity in ways logic alone cannot. This harmonization of mind and intuition is another way that conscious breathing elevates your existence, making your day-to-day experiences richer and more meaningful. In challenging moments, this heightened intuition can serve as a gentle hand, nudging you toward the choices and perspectives that serve your highest good and the good of those around you. Moreover, exploring your breath can help you reconcile seeming opposites within yourself. You might come face to face with old wounds, regrets, or fears, but now, with the grounding presence of breath, you have a tool to move through them rather than evade them. Emotions that once seemed overwhelming become more manageable when you approach them from a place of centered awareness. You learn that neither clinging to nor suppressing your feelings serves you. Rather, you can observe them, honor them, and allow them to transform naturally. This process of emotional integration leads to a kind of inner harmony that is profoundly healing. You realize that happiness and sorrow, confidence and doubt, light and shadow are all part of the human experience, and that through conscious breathing, you can hold space for every aspect of yourself. This wholeness underlies genuine self-acceptance, paving the way for deeper connections and a more compassionate worldview. As time goes on, you might also find that your new level of awareness prompts changes in your lifestyle. You could feel drawn to more nourishing foods, more regular movement, or a healthier work-life balance. These choices are not forced but emerge naturally from a deeper sense of self-care and respect for your body, which you now see as the sacred vessel for breath and consciousness. You might also be inspired to spend more time in nature, where the act of breathing in fresh air feels both energizing and soul-renewing. Activities that were once taken for granted become rich opportunities for mindfulness, savoring a meal, enjoying a sunset, or even engaging in everyday conversations. In each of these situations, the breath serves as an invisible thread, linking you to the present moment and reminding you of the broader tapestry of life. This kind of living engenders gratitude, not the fleeting gratitude of social niceties, but a deeper, more reverent appreciation for the simple fact that you are alive and connected. Given all these potential transformations, it is no wonder that many who explore the depths of breath speak of it as a direct route to personal evolution. It requires no external authority and no intermediaries, just your own willingness to witness the miracle within. Throughout this journey, you remain both the student and the subject of study, constantly refining your understanding of what it means to be awake, conscious, and alive. While it may sound lofty, the process is entirely grounded in the everyday reality of inhalation and exhalation. Every breath is a new beginning, a fresh chance to align with your highest truth. Even if you fall off track for days or weeks, you can always return with a single, mindful breath. There is profound solace in knowing that regardless of external circumstance, your breath can guide you home to a place of inner peace and clarity. Allowing yourself this experience day by day, you eventually look back and realize how far you have come. Perhaps your temper is less volatile, or your daily stress feels less burdensome. Perhaps the relationships you once took for granted now sparkle with newfound appreciation and openness. Or maybe you have discovered a kind of wisdom and tranquility you once believed only existed in fables or distant mountain monasteries. These shifts may happen gradually or arrive in sudden flashes, but each one is a testament to the power you wield when you consciously engage with your breath. Far from being a simplistic technique or a fleeting spiritual craze, it is an ancient, time-tested path that continues to serve humanity across ages and cultures. The reason for its endurance is straightforward. It works. It leads you inward, offering a reliable means to expand your consciousness, evolve emotionally, and inhabit each moment with fuller presence and authenticity. Ultimately, the deeper you go into the practice, the more you realize that the breath is not merely oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange, nor solely a tool for relaxation. It is a living, dynamic force that has the potential to guide you into the very heart of existence. In that space, boundaries melt, insights flourish, and a quiet sense of unity weaves through your experience of life. Through conscious breathing, you engage in a ceaseless dance between the tangible and the intangible, the finite and the infinite. You find that you can be fully present in the mundane tasks of daily life while simultaneously dwelling in a state of expanded awareness that perceives the interconnected web of all beings. This dual awareness is the hallmark of an awakened mind, one that can operate effectively in the material world while remaining rooted in a deeper spiritual truth. The more you cultivate it, the more natural and spontaneous it becomes, until it simply feels like an extension of who you are. Throughout this transformation, you develop a nuanced understanding that true elevation of consciousness is not about escaping life's responsibilities or floating in perpetual bliss. Instead, it is about embracing the totality of your experience with an open heart and a steady mind. By grounding yourself in the breath, you strengthen your capacity to navigate both joy and hardship with equanimity and wisdom. You become an active participant in your own evolution, forging a path that unites head and heart, thought and intuition, individuality and universality. As you balance these elements, you may feel an urge to share this discovery with others, not through proselytizing or force, but by living as an example of the peace and clarity that conscious breathing can bring. Your life itself becomes a testament to the quiet power hidden in every breath, inspiring those around you to look within and discover their own untapped potential. The final realization on this path is often that there is no finality at all. Conscious breathing is not a finite journey with a clear endpoint. It is an ongoing exploration where each moment holds the promise of new insights. Even if you devote a lifetime to this practice, the breath will still have layers to reveal, new depths to explore. That is part of its beauty. It remains infinitely accessible and infinitely profound. In recognizing this, you free yourself from the pressure of rushing to a destination and instead learn to appreciate the unfolding journey as it is. Every breath becomes a reminder that life is happening now, in this instant, and that you have the power to meet it with awareness, grace, and authenticity. In that meeting, you tap into the source of profound transformation, a wellspring of presence that invites you to live fully, love deeply, and awaken to the vast potential that lies within your own being. And as you do so, you naturally uplift not only your own consciousness, but also the collective consciousness of which you are an inseparable part.